Good morning, world. It is Monday, my mom's birthday, and the reason we went to Memphis for the weekend.
So I guess I was wrong.
My brother flew into town for the occasion on Friday, and my drone also arrived. This thing is tiny. This is crazy. So I figured this little trip would be a good opportunity to test that drone out as well. Little did I know what that would get me into. But that's not how we started the weekend. We started off at Cheapskates in Memphis, which is a long-standing account.
What Tony Hawk say? What that happened?
He said, Daniel, put them on your camera.
Somebody wore one of my Cheapskates t-shirts out to a skater art party.
Getting shy now.
Ron is an awesome dude and always big to support. So we stopped in there first, dropped off some boards. Actually wound up signing one of the boards. Somebody in there wanted one of my Haney boards, mainly because Ron was talking me up. But that was pretty cool. I haven't really signed an autograph in a long time. And Ron also gave us a lot of good recommendations on places to go. First stop outside of that was a graveyard, an old graveyard from the 1800s that my mom wanted to check out.
How old is this cemetery, Mom?
1852.
She loves things like that, and so that was where I flew the drone for the first time. And it actually has a really good picture. I was impressed. After the graveyard, we went and checked into our hotel and went to Beale Street. I like Beale Street. I like the energy, you know, all of the life there, the people.
She's got me on
We wound up eating at a barbecue place and ordering just a mass family dinner. Then we went back to the hotel and we were going to play around the pool, and then I was going to fly the Spark. And so I fly it up and get some shots of downtown Memphis, and again the signal was pretty poor, so we couldn't go very far. And while we're doing that, a room upstairs, there was a bunch of kids there. I say kids, they're in their 20s probably, partying, and they start talking to us about the drone. And so I'm playing with them. They were asking questions, and so I'm kind of filming them, just including them. It was fun. And so they're like, oh, bring it over here, and we're talking back and forth, and out of nowhere, one of the guys got all cocky and just smacks the drone out of the sky. Just reaches out and knocks it down. As a teenager, as a young person, I had a really bad temper. I got into a lot of fights, had a lot of angst. I use skateboarding as a channel for that, but even still, it tended to overflow. And so, focusing a lot more on yoga and feeling generally better about my life, that all seems to have faded a lot. And I feel pretty good about it. I get cut off, I don't get angry. I get rude service at the drive-thru at Hardee's. I try to imagine, maybe they're having a bad day, maybe life's not treating them well, but something about this dude that just swatted my drone to the ground 2 stories up, it just ignited fury in a flash. And the same with my brother. Later my mom would call that the Haney rising up in us. And so he runs up to their door and he's trying to get them to come out. And so after I got the drone to finally shut off, it was going haywire. This turned into a whole big fiasco. They luckily didn't open the door because I was ready to kill him, and my brother also. And so they didn't open the door. That gave us a little time to calm down. I ran downstairs while Jeremiah watched the door and had them call the police. And so we spent hours waiting on the police to show up. Meanwhile, this dude is trying to talk me into not involving the police, and I'm like, man, you just destroyed a $500 drone. So the only way out of this is if you want to replace the damage you caused. And at first, it was a mess. At first, they ran away. They got out, and the only person there was this girl. And when they finally did show back up to get her, the dude was acting pretty cocky, and I thought we were gonna fight again. And I had calmed down to a point where I wasn't gonna be the aggressor. But if he wanted, I really was hoping that he would start something, because all I wanted to do was just grind him up. But as the night went on, I definitely calmed down, and at some point, I'm in his room waiting. He's trying to get some money together to pay for the drone.
It was like fucking World War III, dude. Like, everybody started freaking the fuck out. Shit.
And he breaks down crying on the phone.
They're banging all this shit. They said, I gotta get the cops. We're gonna get the cops. It's this whole fucking thing. And we talked down. We talked down to where we can have a discussion.
And I started to feel bad. I started to feel terrible, But at the same time, I'm going, okay, what am I supposed to do here? I can't let him off. I mean, he broke my drone, I can't just be, oh, it's cool. But then the cops finally did show up, and...
You got your ID?
Yes, sir.
So where are you from, sir?
Little Rock.
Little Rock, okay. Y'all don't know each other, y'all not
No.
together, y'all.
And we already we agreed. If I can get him his money for his drone, then we can settle out of this, which is fair. Neither of us want to do any kind of help.
Like I said, all I can do on this is take a report.
Basically said they weren't going to do anything other than file a report. But at that point, I was so tired and so over it that I didn't even care. So I go back to the room, and I start talking to my brother, and I was really bummed on how I behaved, that I didn't want to act like that. I want to be more calm. I want to be more rational. I don't want to be controlled by my emotions. Now, I love my passion, I really do. But I'd like to use it at times when I'd like to use it for love, honestly. Not anger, vengeance. I don't want to be that guy. So apparently I still have a long way to go. But at least we didn't get into a fight. Now, we get back to the room, and I'm laying down to go to bed. And at 4:30, the fire alarm goes off.
A fire has been reported in the building. Please proceed to the stairways and exit the building. Do not use the elevators.
I guess I should put a shirt on too.
We're evacuating. You walk out in the hall and everyone's leaving, and so we're slowly walking 10 floors down. And we actually wound up stopping on the 7th floor at a parking garage, and we're looking out to sea, and fire trucks are showing up, and half the hotel's out in the streets. And we wait for a little while, and the firemen start coming up, and they're like, oh, it looks like it's a false alarm. And so we're like, okay, well, we're just going to go back to bed. But there's still an uneasy feeling because the fire alarm is still going off. And it continued to go off till 6 in the morning, loud. And so I went from being all riled up and consumed by my emotions to laying in bed and meditatively trying to relax while this overbearing siren and voice chimes off in my head. And I was calm. I managed to even maybe get a little bit of sleep during that process. Then the fire alarm went off at 6:30, and I went to sleep.
It's crazy that building's just completely abandoned, both of those.
Yeah.
It's so trippy. I don't want to go break into them.
I was thinking the same. Great minds.
Then Sunday morning we got up, talked about our wild evening over breakfast, and then we went to Graceland. Now, I've been to Memphis countless times, but I've never been to Graceland. I mean, I like Elvis, he's great, but it just was never all that big a draw for me. My mother, on the other hand, loves that sort of stuff.
Elvis Presley, and here he is.
What do you have?
Scotch bourbon.
So we went, and I had a really good time, and I saw a totally different side of Elvis. After that, we went to eat, and then we went to the Civil Rights Museum, which is where Dr. Martin Luther King was assassinated. And that hit me in a way I would not have expected it to. I teared up. And it was a weird juxtaposition to go to, in one city, to encapsulate two larger than life personas. And not to take anything away from Elvis, because obviously, if you entertain people and you bring joy to people, you know, you're doing a service all the same. But I was much more touched by Martin Luther King and unification, love, and when you go there, it is multicultural, multiracial. Everybody there is there to see that. And so on some level, that dream is coming true. You know, and then obviously we still have a long way to go. But I am optimistic about the future. And what's in my future is a birthday party. So I'm going to go handle that, and I'll see you guys next time. Tomorrow, in fact, when we're going to cook out for Taco Tuesday. Until then, bye!
Happy birthday, dear Mama. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, God.
Yay!